Hello YouTube. Right now I'm going to show you my Lukeminer 0025. This version supports a lot more than the earlier versions. The earlier version that I showed you before was 0015A, I believe. And then so this one here uses 2D Perlin noise and a Perlin generator to generate a height map, which it then loads into chunks of 16 by 16 by 128 high chunks of blocks here. It scales the blocks up by 4 times so that it could probably stop a lot of graphics buffer overloads, or overflows would be the right term. So what I have right now is I'm still working on it. I just want to document my progress on YouTube, but you're able to build blocks. Okay, yeah, it's experimental, but let's see what that said. Anyways, okay. So this version here does take a while to load, but it doesn't support having like, say I was to build on the end of a chunk, it wouldn't work because it would probably give that same error that we just got there. So right now we're able to build, like, I think this is probably gonna work. Hopefully, yeah, there we go. So like we're able to build on top here and on the side. So I'm gonna show you pretty much what the difference is between this and Clock Engine 0017. Is Clock Engine 0017 has broken Perlin noise, it has broken linear interpolation, and it has broken block building and deleting. Actually, I don't even know if I put block deleting in it yet, but yeah, Clock Engine 0017A or 17A is going to come out soon. That one's going to support, it's going to have a map maker, and it's going to load the map that you create. It will not use Perlin noise unless you tell it to use Perlin noise, and it takes advantage of my Luke GUI. So yeah, this here is just kind of a test that allows me to do the Perlin noise. Like, this is a personal project. Clock Engine is more of a school project right now. But yeah, so if you guys have any questions or about the source code can be available at experimental.thegamerreward.com. If you don't know what I'm saying there, just personal message me and then I'll get that link to you. The Game Board is my site. It's a social place for social gamers, pretty much a Facebook for video gamers, and it's not very big right now, but I hope to get it bigger as I expand some of the features in it, as well as changing the whole GUI interface, because the GUI interface is pressurized a little bit, but not in the experimental part, which is where you download this from. When you download this, it's gonna not hurt your eyes at all, because it's not doesn't have the problems that the actual Gamer Board has. It's just another website that's on the Gamer Board. Another site that I want to tell you guys about is Negative Ones. negativeon.es, and that site is a site for hating things. It's pretty much the hate button. And so, with that site, if you just hate something or you just want to get something off your chest, just go ahead and go to that site and type it in, click hate, and it'll show up on the page, and you'll be able to go ahead and hate more and more things. You can hate as much as you want. Just go on there and hate about stuff. You can hate people, you can hate places, you can hate countries, whatever you want to hate. Politics. I know there's been a lot of controversy over the banks right now. So if you want to hate those, you can hate those too. It doesn't matter. There's no restrictions on it. And that's the good thing about it. It's not corporate. It's not controlled by corporations that monitor everything. It's not a Google site. Google wouldn't do half the shit that I'm doing with that. So it's a good way of doing it. So yeah. As you can see, the Perlin noise generator in this deal here, it just generates a random 400 by 400 pixel height map that and then it scales it down by, was it 6 or 7 times? and then once it scales it, it'll just export that into a height map. And when it reads the height map into this program right here, because it's two separate programs, one that generates the height map, one that reads the height map, which is this. The one that reads the height map, or this program that we're viewing right now, all that one does is it just takes the number that it gets from the height map. It just reads a random, like one of the red, green, or blue values, and then it divides that by 4, just to kind of scale down a little bit so that it's not as high, and you won't have any problems with the overflowing the graphics buffer, because triangle problems would overflow the graphics buffer. And so yeah, it does a lot of work in there too. Another thing that it does is it goes ahead and when it makes the chunks, as you can see, if we were to go like this, you can see that you can't really see through it, but you can see the side of the chunk right there, which is the green. So it builds the sides of the chunks, but it leaves everything in the middle empty. So to give you another idea of how that works, if we were to go up here, there we go. That's the same error right there as if you try to build on the side of a chunk and it has a problem. It'll have a problem. But yeah, let me show you here. So the code in here is pretty much self-explanatory for the most part. I mean, just knowing that there's 25 by 25 chunks X and 25 chunks Z. There's 16 by 16 chunks, and there's 128 high in each chunk. Now, when it loads the height map, what it does here, actually it's 6. It divides it by 6. So it finds whether if it's 255 or over, or 127 or over, it'll subtract it down to 127, and then it'll divide that by 6, and that gives you your height. And if it's lower than 0 or it's 0, then it'll just put it back at 1, because it needs to be at least 1, because we don't like having holes in our height maps and in our maps. We have the set data. Actually, the person that I want to give a lot of props to is this guy FBE Pion, I think is his name. He developed a lot of this code, pretty much a lot of this code here that I've just refined and put into this, as well as this make quad code, which is excellent. And the whole system of setting everything up, it was really hard for me to understand at first, but after I understood the most part of it, it just all fell in place. Now, as you can see in some of the earlier versions of Clock Engine, as in Clock Engine 0015, which I'm not sure if I released, I might have, but Clock Engine 0015, what that does is it does one chunk. It just does one chunk, one big chunk, and that was more of a test program. I completely rewrote the code, as you can see in the engine, for finding the side that was hit, as well as picking the side and the triangle, and determining which part of the data in the array to set. I had it completely backwards in Clock Engine 0017, and I figured this out in 2 in the morning today. Right now it's 3:35, but so it was just a matter of changing some values in here, and now it works for the most part. So I'm going to release this today, right after I'm done with this video, and as you know, there will still be problems. It's still an experimental version, probably not even beta yet. I wouldn't consider it beta or alpha yet. I would just consider it Lukeminer 0025. So I will release that to you guys, and I'm gonna post the link in the source, or link to the source in the video description. So here we go.